What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Paranormal Mind, the Searchers podcast. And Ray's already misbehaving already. Can you
Settle
believe
down
that?
over there,
Yeah.
QA.
So thank you so much for joining. We're going to get into some really cool topics in a minute. But before all that, how is y'all's day going?
Wonderful.
Swimmingly.
Yeah. Perfect.
I got rear-ended last weekend, so that's fun.
I bet you did.
Oh, boy. Oh, God. Set up.
Okay, so tell us about that, Josh. As long as we,
I mean, what's there to say? Going down 75, going to Orlando to a metal fest, and got rear-ended by a F-350 in my poor little Bronco.
So how did that work out? Everybody okay?
We're all okay.
I know you're still
Can't
alive.
open the
I
lift
think.
gate. Well, as alive as I ever was, I suppose. Hanging on by a thread every day.
God, that sucks though. And you got a new Jeep too, don't you?
It's a
So
Bronco.
It's a Bronco, man.
oh,
Get it
excuse
right.
me. Well, it looks the same to me.
Whoa.
It looks like a Jeep.
It doesn't have a death wobble.
Jeez. That's true.
True, but it does
It
look
has
like
a transmission still. So
Sorry, it does look like a Jeep.
anyway, yeah. So I can't open my back lift gate right now because it's folded. It's real fun. How about you, Ray? What's going on?
My car has not been wrecked.
That's good.
I'm good.
Nothing else going on?
Hey, you wake up
Nothing.
in the morning and your car's not wrecked. It's a good
Yeah.
day, I suppose.
Well, I am going to be in Savannah in a couple of days doing a Savannah tour. I'm going to be there with Dave Schrader and Mysterious Adventure Tours. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Other than, this weekend there's a flood warning, and then, there's rain forecasted while we're going to be there. But hopefully it's going to be okay. Should be a lot of fun. Savannah's been awesome. I've been there quite a few times. Have y'all ever been to Savannah?
Have we ever been to Savannah?
I used to live in Savannah.
Well, I didn't know that. See, and the viewers and the listeners don't know that either.
36th Street.
Really?
Yeah.
How long did you live there?
I don't know. Yeah, that's where we got pregnant with my first child. So,
Oh, nice.
and we moved back here shortly after that.
Why? Because of family and
Yeah.
stuff? Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah,
Very cool.
we had our honeymoon there, me and my wife.
That's awesome. Savannah's a very cool place. If you haven't been, you need to go check it out. It's very cool. But
Lots of history.
we have got a really cool podcast for you today. Really cool topic that I think we want to talk about. We're not going to be talking about ghosts and stuff all the time.
Shane's demographic.
Yeah, let's talk about your demographic.
Of what?
People that like you.
The people that like Shane Pittman.
Y'all said what? It's going to be a bleed over from the guy from Skillet.
Yeah,
If there was a Venn diagram of people that like Skillet and people that like Shane Pittman, there would be a little bit in the middle that like both.
Yep, and that's where Shane stands.
Y'all need to stop. So, so Ray, is your bleed over Andrew Tate?
Oh,
Do I look anything like Andrew Tate? I don't understand the reference.
Oh,
just
Unless you're
kidding.
talking about misogyny.
Misogyny. and just to clear this up, guys, Ray is not a misogynist. No matter how many times you think it from watching 28 Days on it,
listen,
and I'm not either.
Ray has a wife and like a million kids. He's not a misogynist. I assure you.
Well, to be fair, you could have a wife and a bunch of kids and be a misogynist, but we know him personally, and we know.
I have known
You're all
him for a
good.
very long time.
Yeah, my wife rules the roost.
But you exist like most husbands do.
I just do what I'm told.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even done 28 Days on it if my wife hadn't told me to.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people don't know. I think, editing is a magical thing.
Right.
I'll tell you that. Like there's a lot of things that people who watch these shows, they don't realize that sometimes the editing could be geared towards a certain way. And, whenever we sign on to do these shows, we go in, and most of the people out there, especially in this genre, they try to go about it with pure intentions, that they've got a job to do and they want to do it to the best of their ability. But when editing's involved and you got other things at play, sometimes that gets twisted.
Absolutely.
And in the case of how editing turned out, it portrays you in a way that was not legitimate in my eyes. So I just want to say, Ray, don't cry. It's going to be okay.
It'll be all right.
No, but people who have seen the show and you have any speculation about it, follow the searchers and what we do. You'll see our true nature, the character of what we do, and the stuff that we film and stuff we show you. Even behind the scenes, the stuff that we do, we show you who we are as people. And we're not perfect. I mean, we act stupid a lot of the times. There's a lot of things that are not the best about us, but we go about what we do to the best of our ability, and we care about the paranormal field and just searching for the truth out there in some capacity. So
we're a lot like anybody else out there. We're just trying to wake up and go to bed every day.
Yeah, and there's going to be people that don't like us, and that's cool. But just keep in mind, for those that are really wanting to give certain shows and stuff a chance, that editing is magical and editing is geared towards a certain storyline. And if you're not meshing with that storyline, then things will be edited in a way to where it fits that storyline.
And a lot of your favorite paranormal heroes are totally different in real life than you think they are.
Oh, absolutely.
Just because they look really cool on television, in real life, they're fucking douchebags.
Some of them.
Facts.
Most of them.
Don't say most.
Don't meet your heroes.
No. There's a lot of great people out there. At least the people that I associate with and work with, for the most part, I mean, all of them are really down to earth, genuine people. So I don't really want to say that, but I know there's some oddballs out there, but that's with any genre or any profession.
It's crazy because every paranormal show that comes out, everybody thinks that they could do a better job than the people that are doing it. And I think that's really the issue with this genre is there is no support in the
and that's sad.
Agreed.
No matter what we do, someone's going to say, "Oh, we could do it better." If it was me doing it, it would be better. If it was not these people doing it, it would be better. It's not like, hey, I appreciate what you're doing. And even let's say we go somewhere that 10 other teams have been. We're not going to cite the research and the evidence that they got and continue it, because that's not the field we're in. We're not in a supportive field where we can say, hey, to use an example, and to be fair, they are really awesome, and I appreciate everything they do, but the Destination Fear crew.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
When we went to Sweet Springs, they'd already been, but it's not like we said, hey, based on the evidence that Chelsea and Dakota and Tanner and all of them got, this is where we're going to kickstart our. We started from scratch. It shouldn't be like that. We should all be feeding off each other, because this is a field of study. Right. At the end of the day. So if all fields of study were like that, where nobody used other people's research, we wouldn't even have advances in medicine. We wouldn't have advances in any field.
That's true.
It should be the same for parapsychology and for paranormal investigating. We should be citing each other's work.
No, absolutely. As pieces of the puzzle, putting them together to find the truth in some capacity, right?
We've always said that we hoped, with the stuff that we do with searchers and everything, we hope that maybe when we're dead and gone, the stuff that we did
carries on.
At least there's a piece of it maybe that mattered.
But if you look at some of these locations that have been done to death, mm-hmm. How many of them have been a continuation of something someone else has done? Very few do that. It's not like we're going to Bobby Mackey's and picking up where other people have left off. It's not like we're going to, nobody's doing that in this field. And I think that we're all doing ourselves a disservice by not working together and not supporting each other, and not, because everyone says, oh, we want to do this. We're not doing this for fame and fortune. We're doing this to help.
It's
and
where
to do
the
all that.
entertainment portion of it comes in.
Right.
And like a lot of the stuff you see on TV, there's so many contracts and red tape and hurdles. I mean, I'm sitting here. We all interviewed for 28 Days Haunted, and you got one guy that's out of his contract. The other guy still isn't out of his contract. I didn't sign a contract, and I could talk about anything, and it's all about the same topic. You know, it gets really weird.
Yeah.
And it gets tough to pick and choose about what you're going to say, but that's the TV aspect of it. I guess in the idea of promoting science, we all should be collectively working on that together.
For the greater good of paranormal investigating and for the paranormal field in general.
Right. Well, every other field is the same way.
Yeah,
Like
agreed.
the medical field. If people didn't expound upon certain theories and hypotheses about certain things, then the medical field would be in shambles too. And
Right.
people can argue that it is in certain degrees already, but it's the same concept. Like if there's things that are found out, we need to build
Need
upon
to know
it. If
about
there's a foundation already laid, if there's cracks and pieces missing or things that need to be improved upon, we can do that, but we still need to build upon a firm foundation.
And
if we don't have that, then what are we doing here?
And to be fair, when we go places, if we know someone that's been there, we always
We always
reach out to them.
do
We're
reach
like,
out
hey,
to
you
them.
know,
You know, Destination Fear actually is one of those. When we went to the Old South Pittsburgh Hospital, we did reach out to them then.
yeah.
And you know, and it's not to say that when we were at Sweet Springs in our first episode of the Paranormal Mind that we didn't already know the location of where some of their more profound evidence was captured too. We did.
Right.
Did we necessarily address it in the episode? No. But is it in the back of our minds as prior knowledge? Yes.
Right.
Yeah, and to anybody out there that's listening, and if you're into the paranormal or you have a paranormal team or anything like that, just go into it with a goal of trying to be collaborative, trying to work with people. If you're trying to set yourself apart in something, I'm going to tell you right now, especially in this field, you're going to fail.
Right.
Like if you don't lean on other people,
You
you're
know-
going to fail because there's so many people. And go on Facebook and you'll see it really quick.
All the time.
There's so many people that the same black shirt paranormal teams, which is nothing wrong with what you wear. That's not. It's the fact that there's anybody and everybody out there is trying out this paranormal thing.
Right.
So there's a lot of us out here. We are much better together than we are apart.
Right. Be
Yeah,
better
absolutely.
than the ones before you.
Yeah,
that
I mean,
are
that-
negative and are unsupportive and will just
That's kind of
tear
my take. too.
everything down that doesn't belong to them.
If you have to
Because
get ahead,
You
right?
don't have to tear someone else down to build yourself up.
Exactly.
And if you do, you're doing things wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
You are. And
And
I
that's
can't.
something that we've always believed.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're sitting here, we're filming our own stuff, we're recording our own podcasts,
Right.
and we're doing all of this stuff because a lot of times we don't receive that kind of help.
Because it's
And
crazy.
we do it ourselves and we don't ask otherwise.
Because like when I'm at home, like I'll watch Death Walkers with Nick Groff, or I'll watch Destination Fear when it's on TV
To support 'em,
just
too.
to support them.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
To watch what they're doing and be impressed with how far they've come from
Right.
season one and how far they've gotten in this field, and it's impressive. And I'm happy as hell for anybody.
And
that
we all
does
look
it.
at it with different aspects as like a creator too, watching them because again, we do the Paranormal Mind, you know, other than Dines Media, which are buddies of ours.
Yep.
Well, we do all of that ourselves. So we take more appreciation to that aspect than what multiple people do. What you don't see in a lot of these shows is you got, 20 person crews back there
Yeah.
to film this stuff, not us. And so it makes us more proud of our own product. It makes us proud of people like Destination Fear and then Nick Groff and Beth Walker because we know how they're doing their setups as well.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the problem too. A lot of people feel like the only way that they're going to get ahead or anything like that is if they are on a television show.
Right.
That is not true.
No.
In this genre, like you can, if your goal is to be famous, it's the wrong goal. It's the wrong goal.
Nobody's
Telling you
famous.
that.
It's the wrong goal. I think what it is if we're all searching for something, searching for the truth in some capacity, then that should be our primary focus. We shouldn't be focusing on the wrong things. And I'm not saying that being on television is bad. Hell, I've been
No.
on television. Ray, you have,
And if it
Josh
ever worked
and
out, I
other.
think any one
For
of
a-
us
for a
would
little
do
while.
it. You know, but we look at it more of like a function of a job. You know, we fall in line with a certain criteria of things that we are good at. Paranormal investigating tends to be one of those things.
Mhm.
For me, you know, filmmaking is another one of those things. And so if we fit a certain position and somebody reaches out to us and says, hey, can you guys interview for this? Or, hey, I like what y'all are doing. Can we work on something? Then our creative minds are at work and we're saying, yeah, let's see if we can figure it out. It does go south sometimes in the editing phase because
Right.
it's not what you signed up for, but you have no control over it
Yeah.
either.
Well, I think with us, we're more about the creative aspect.
Oh,
we
absolutely.
want to create. We want to bring other people on the journey and create with us. I mean, I think I think that's what sets us apart a little bit is that we're wanting to include as many people as possible that are willing and have genuine intent to
Because
do good.
The one
you
thing
know?
that we've done that not a lot of people are doing is we're taking a step back from creating episodes
Yeah.
to focus more on live investigations and including everybody in what we're doing.
That's for
versus-
all of you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we do everything purely for us having fun with each other because we are really good friends and we like to travel, we like to experience these things, but also we have a lot of really hardcore supporters and we thank all of y'all for that. And we want to make sure we know that not everybody has the capability to just set up a podcast setup or have these cameras to produce like really good visual results and such. So
I think
we
we
go out and
enjoy
do that stuff.
we enjoy being together with each other
Yeah.
and doing interactions live with other people more than we enjoy making episodes and doing the monotonous
Oh yeah, for sure. Because we
creating
all,
an episode.
we all have families. We all
Yeah.
have jobs. At the end of the day, you know, I'm still working on the episode 2 of The Paranormal Mind, which we're getting there. But quite literally, most of these high production things that you'll look and compare our stuff to is, you know, they got crews that do this. This is their full-time job. Well, we got other things.
Yeah, so
besides
if you're a
that.
video editor
Yeah.
and you're cheap, like free,
Come see
reach
us.
out.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
again, we don't make a ton of money doing any of this.
Well,
So-
and when we film episodes, right? Like we noticed that, you know, we're in the business aspect, in the professional mind of okay, we're gonna tell a good story and we're gonna present this location as honest as possible. But at the same time, we were taking away time from the live streams, like Ray,
Right,
you're talking
absolutely.
about, from interacting, from doing podcasts like we
Yeah.
were wanting to do for a while. We're taking away from all of you, and that's not something we want to do. At the end of the day, if we're never famous and anything like that, it's okay. As long as we are striving towards a goal, which is what Ray led off with earlier, is like we need to be building upon foundation. If we're not doing that, then what's the purpose of life?
I mean,
There's not
everything
really
that we're
much
doing,
purpose.
though, the biggest part that I appreciate about the filming, the podcasting, and everything is that when we are like 80 years old, this is a record
Oh
of
yeah,
things we've done.
And
Yeah.
after filming for 672 straight hours, I could give a shit less about filming.
I
Yeah.
love it still, but that's my forte. You know,
Yeah.
it's what I do.
yeah. And if the opportunity is right, then fine. But you know,
Absolutely.
everything, the TV world, everything is all in disarray right now. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes with
Yep.
networks and everything like that.
It all
If
has
we
to do with
focus,
money.
if we put all of our focus on that, we're
You'll
not
never-
providing any value. There's no value other than we're it's a pipe dream of trying to get your next project off the ground. And if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. But if you're putting all of your, sorry about that. If you're putting all of your focus on that, then there's no meaning behind that. There's nothing to ultimately be proud of if that's all you're doing.
Yeah, if you're not already there, it's going to be hard to get there right now.
And it gets exponentially harder every time a new project comes out, or anything to that degree. But that's life in general, right? They only want something that's better than what they had before.
Yeah, and networks are really sticking with their comfort zones, and they're not going out of their way to find.
It's because it bleeds outside of creativity. It's all about, again, money, and to a degree, it has to matter.
And from a business aspect, it makes sense.
Right.
Like, we're not knocking these networks. It's understandable. If you know where a target audience is, you're going to try to stick there and you don't want to deviate too much. But the frustration lies, and I'm sure with a lot of people that are out there, is like whenever people tell you, hey, we want to see different things, right? We were talking about this before we hit record. When you want to see different things, and you want to see,
you're scared that the different things aren't going to work.
You don't want to fund
so
it.
you want to stick with the known formula, which is go investigate, be done with it.
Yep. IR camera.
They have data.
Camera.
They have data on viewership for that stuff, so they know what works.
The same equipment, the same locations, the same people, the same formula.
Over and over again. It's
time.
it's regurgitated all the time. And it's nothing against the shows, because the shows, a lot of them, I have friends that are on these shows that do a phenomenal job. You know, they do a phenomenal job with the expectations of what they're told, okay, this is how it needs to be. But whenever you're saying, okay, we want to see something new, we want to see something, and you present that to them, and they're like, oh, we're going to pass. Well, it's like you just said that you wanted something new, something fresh, something exciting. You're given that. And it's not just presented to you first. It's presented to other production companies that are telling you, holy shit, we've got to get this in play immediately. Yeah. And then once you play it to the networks, they're like, oh, unfortunately, we got to pass right now. It's like...
and then you see another show get picked up, and you're like...
Yeah, well, but it's of the same formula. But see, it's disheartening. It's disheartening. So if you're out there and you're trying to get something done and you're trying to get a project across, don't give up, but prioritize where your attention goes, because I think that's very important. That's what we're doing right now. Of course, we can go headstrong into a lot of our projects. We have a lot of great ideas that we've been talking about and that we've been trying to do, but
I think there's a time and place for all of it. You know, we just got to capitalize on our time and our supporters' time and try and make the best out of all of it. You know, if it takes us 2 years to get 6 professionally done episodes because we're doing it on our own,
and because we care about the product we're putting out, we're not just regurgitating the same thing over and over again.
And I can't stress to you guys enough just how much goes into the post-production processing this stuff. I mean,
it's so easy to film an episode, but it is so hard to edit.
It is
5 minutes.
There's a lot. And what's really unique about the stuff, and we'll tell our supporters now, the stuff that we film, we don't go into it with like a straight line of like the story we're trying to tell. We try to stay a little bit flexible because we do want the reality and the real unscripted stuff to play through, and then we have to go formulate that, put that together on the back end, you know.
There's a lot that goes into it, and that's why a lot of times when we put it out there to you guys, it's personal for us, not just like comments and stuff, but we want to see that feedback, because that's something, that's our blood, sweat, and tears that goes into all of this. This is something that we put a lot of time away from family. You know, we devote time away from family. We devote time into editing behind the scenes because we don't have the huge budgets right now. So there's a lot of stuff that we do behind the scenes, but at the end of the day, all of it is all for you, for all of you. Okay. And that's why with these podcasts, you know, with our Patreon for the video. We're trying to do extra so the audio is completely free because we know that some people don't have the financial capability to do.
We get it.
To support it. We get it wholeheartedly, but we want to make it to where we try to accommodate everybody. So those that aren't able to support, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. And for those that are willing to support us, we really appreciate that. And that's why our Patreon's in place.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of bucks from each person goes a long, long way in allowing us to, continue to create.
Yeah, and that's just, for the live streams and stuff that we're going to be doing too, that just helps fund some of that too. All of it goes back into what we're creating so we can entertain all of you. And at the end of the day, that's where it's all going back into what we're doing in the projects. So
we get asked all the time for the first episode of the Paranormal 9. One, I know you guys have to go and pay to rent it or pay to purchase it. We're working on that, and we're going to try and change that. Two, we get asked all the time if this is ever going to be on Discovery Plus, and the truth of the answer is I don't know. We don't know that because we have no control over that. If they came to us and were like, hey, let's make an agreement. If an agreement failed, panned out, then sure, it'll end up on there because I know it'd be better for a viewer. But at the same time, right now, we have the ability to put it anywhere we want to.
Right.
We're just trying to make the right decision doing that.
All right, so y'all want to talk about this topic that we got?
Yeah. You ready to get started on the podcast?
Want to do it?
Let's do it.
All right, let's go. So this episode is freaking badass. We're going to be talking about one of the most fascinating encounters in American history. It's one of the most fascinating, in my eyes anyway. It's the Kelly-Hopkinsville encounter. Have y'all ever heard of this?
Ooh, is this the Goblins?
Kinda.
Yeah, I love this. I love Goblins.
Kinda. All right. So for those of you who don't know, the Kelly-Hopkinsville encounter is a story of a bizarre and unexplainable encounter between a group of Kentucky residents and what they believe to be extraterrestrial beings. Why is it always like Kentucky and West Virginia? Why is all the cool stuff happening over there?
That's because they're wild out there in Appalachia.
Yeah.
Wild and wonderful.
What's that moonshine too?
Yeah, it's that moonshine there.
Yeah. So it's a Kentucky residents they believe to be extraterrestrial beings. They saw this stuff. It's a story that's captivated and intrigued people for generations. And in this podcast, we are going to explore the many questions and theories surrounding the enduring mystery.
It was Goblins.
Yeah.
It's over.
You're ready to go? All right. So the witnesses in the Kelly-Hopkinsville encounter were some real characters. They were crazy. We're talking about Elmer Lucky Sutton.
Elmer? Love it.
His buddy Billy Ray Taylor.
Billy Ray.
And various other family members who just happen to be carnival workers. I mean, you can't make this up. It's carnival workers. Okay.
That checks out.
Yeah.
All right. So
legit.
These guys they had gathered for a family supper at a farmhouse rented by Lucky's mother, Miss Glennie Lankford, on the evening of August 21st, 1955. Nothing too out of the ordinary, right? But here's where things take a really strange turn. A few hours later, Sutton, Taylor, and other family members showed up at the Hopkinsville police headquarters asking for help, and they were frantic. They were freaking the hell out, okay? They claimed that they had been under attack by aliens from a spaceship, and they had been holding them off with gunfire for hours. That's right, you heard me right. Gunfire. All right.
America.
So as you can imagine, the police were a little skeptical at first, and they were like, okay, what are these people doing here begging for help and saying that they're fighting aliens, I mean, who wouldn't be? I would be skeptical if somebody came to me saying, oh, I'm finding a horde of aliens in my backyard. I'd be like, okay, are you high on something? It's crazy. But when they arrived at the farmhouse, they found evidence of strange lights and bullet holes in the walls. The witnesses claimed that the aliens had silver skin and long arms, and that they were impervious to gunfire. Like it didn't bother them, didn't faze them. All right, so get ready for more details of this
bulletproof
Encounter.
aliens.
Where's the baby?
It gets weirder. Yeah, where's the baby? All right, so according to witnesses, the encounter began when Billy Ray Taylor went outside to draw water from the well and saw a bright light streak across the sky around 7 p.m. So about an hour later, he heard a dog barking, and when he and Lucky Sutton went outside to investigate, they claimed they saw a creature. They said that they fired their guns at a scary face that appeared at a window, and that Taylor's hair was grabbed by a huge clawed hand.
These boys are wild.
All right, so before I go any further, like, what are y'all's thoughts right now? Like, I'm seeing your faces. So the people that are just listening to the audio only, and you're not patrons of ours right now,
Right.
and you're not seeing the video version, like, you're not saying Ray's over there looking like, oh, this is a bunch of bullshit.
I love it because
Yeah.
of these people, man. People are crazy.
Yeah. So what are y'all's thoughts on that?
I mean, it's just, I don't know. I got to hear the rest of this before I can make a educated opinion.
Listen, man, I'm all about this story.
All right. So it gets stranger, surprisingly enough, right? So Sutton and Taylor claimed that they had shot at the creature on the roof and in nearby trees, and that the creature floated to the ground. I mean, what the hell, right? And so who knows what they were dealing with at this point? So officers from city, county, and state law enforcement agencies, as well as 4 military police from nearby U.S. Army Fort Campbell, descended on a farmhouse to investigate. However, their search yielded nothing except a single .22 bullet hole in
That's it.
one screen, likely from Billy Ray's pistol. As you can imagine, the press had a field day on this story. They gleefully reported that there were 12 to 15 creatures involved, described as little men.
Goblins.
Ufologists Bud Ledwith and Isabel Davis even wrote a book about the incident, Close Encounters at Kelly and Others of 1955, and added even more embellishments to the story. So over time, the original details of the encounter had been exaggerated and embellished in many retellings, with the story becoming a legendary battle of the, quote, rednecks versus aliens from...
That sounds like a good movie.
For many
I can get
UFO
behind that.
enthusiasts. But despite this sensationalism, the story of the Kelly-Hopkinsville encounter remains one of the most fascinating and mysterious UFO sightings in American history. Who knows what really happened on that fateful night in 1955? It's a mystery that I don't think we'll ever fully understand. But there was a lot of skepticism along the way, but we'll talk about that in a second. Now that I finished that little tidbit, any other thoughts?
Well, see, my thing is like the legitimacy of this. I feel I'm leaning towards it being more legitimate because 1955 was right when the like UFO craze was really starting. So this wasn't like when everybody was making shit up just to
do it.
This was when you were going to lose your entire life saying you saw an alien.
Yeah,
This
Right.
wasn't-
sure.
You'd be ridiculed.
Yeah,
You'd be
yeah.
there would be claims that you
But-
were mentally ill.
But I'm pretty sure Elmer and Billy Ray didn't have much of a life to
That's true
to
too. But
throw
okay,
away. So
I know I laugh about this, but I think I have to side with it possibly being legit to an extent at least too, because I think
it's the same area as Hellier.
it is the same area as Hellier, but on top of that, it is. I think there's been a more recent encounter with aliens at this same place, except they're calling them goblins now because they were short,
Right. Yeah.
short men.
Yeah.
And what else is interesting about this is there is a cave system that
Yeah.
runs like miles and miles and miles up under Kentucky in this
Right.
area that they use for mining and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff that
No. So
That
again,
suggests-
it's the background noise. You'll get used to it. I'm sorry. It's we're recording at BJ's Billiards. This is a good opportunity
Plug it.
to plug them.
plugging.
But they've been so kind to let us set up shop here, and it's a bar. So, you're going to hear a little bit of the background noise. But again, how we do things, we want to be real as possible, and we don't have to be in a studio to make
And
things
we're
work.
poor, so we have
And
to
we're
just be
poor
happy.
too, so we got to
If
deal
you're
with
poor,
what we
you
got.
become pretty real.
Right. The life of reality TV people.
I'm trying to prove this isn't a hobby to my wife and 5 kids. Oh God.
Yeah, Ray said mentioned Hellier too. So Hellier is a documentary show that
Greg and Dana Newkirk and who else?
Carl Pfeiffer.
Yep.
That they put out, and I think it's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, first and second season.
It's very interesting.
Very interesting.
I got to tell you that they put a lot of hard work into it, and
It's captivating.
you need to go check it out. They put a lot of work
It's different.
into it. Yeah, it's
is what I
different.
like.
It's different, and that's why it's on Prime.
Amazon Prime.
Because but you know what? I think that they have the opportunity to be selective because they're not going to alter their work, and I think that that's commendable. That is a cool thing, So let's get back into the story. We heard a little bit of your speculation, but so it turns out that the whole thing may have not been an alien encounter at all. All right.
They were goblins instead.
Yeah, I don't know. So in 2005, as part of the Little Green Men Festival, Hopkinsville Chamber of Commerce hired Joe Nickel from CSI COP to investigate the incident and give a talk on the matter.
In 2005.
Yep.
50 years later.
Right.
Man, they've been milking this one. I'm telling you.
So Nickel interviewed surviving witnesses, went through old records and newspaper archives, and did a thorough analysis of the incident. So according to Nichols' analysis, the creatures described in the incident had many similarities to the great horned owl, which is common in the
I
area.
believe this because if you've ever seen a baby owl, it's an alien.
Dude. So there's a lot of like
Owls are always around when there's alien. Anything alien, there's fucking always
there's
owls.
intertwined with that, which makes it even a little
Makes it more
stranger.
legit.
Yeah,
let's carry on. Just hold on. a second.
Everybody at home right now, Google hairless baby owls.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So these owls stand about 2 feet tall, like we were talking about, and aggressively defend their nest and attack humans who approach too closely. So the families reported 12 to 15 creatures, but no one saw more than 2 at once. The descriptions by Sutton and Taylor would have greatly resembled adult great horned owls at night with no exterior lighting. So furthermore, they hunt 1 hour after sunset, which is right at the time of the firefight, the gunfire and all of that. So in Nichols' view, the incident can be easily explained by a meteor and a pair of territorial owls, particularly since the heightened expectation prompted by the earlier flying saucer sighting and the effects of excitement and nighttime viewing could have been contributed to the witnesses' descriptions. So there you have it. The mystery of the Kelly-Hopkinsville encounter might not be as mysterious after all, but who knows?
I kind of feel like his resolution to that is more far-fetched than the actual.
Yeah, like
Sight.
you're telling me a bunch of rednecks in the middle of rural
Got attacked by
Kentucky
great horned owls.
don't know what a fucking owl looks like. Come on, man.
That's my thing. It's like and think
Come
about
on.
it. These owls
It
exist
depends
all
on
the
the
time.
it depends on the lighting
Man,
now.
yeah, but so in this entire time that they were shooting at owls and they never once like hooed or anything.
Were they intoxicated?
Yeah, but I'm
mean,
pretty sure I
likely.
could be shit canned and I'm like, oh, that's an owl.
I don't know now.
Here's my
Like
thing.
I don't know. Like if they're floating, which is flying towards
Floating
you.
and flying are two different things.
Well, when you're floating down from, like if you're diving down from a tree, it's going to look like it's floating for a second. Okay, it's not like a flapping of the wings. It's like a deep dive to kick your ass.
So I look at it like this, though. Any scenario out there, especially when it's natural occurrences, happen more than once, right? So it's a normal thing. This ain't normal, though. So, like, you have one one story of people seeing aliens and they're trying to put it on owls. But,
Right. But given
owls
what
should
we
exist
know,
all the time.
given what we know about that area, there's been more
Right.
strange
Activity
and
there
unusual
than-
activity than there has been owl attacks. So
That's my thing. Is if owls,
because you
again,
like
natural animal, we know they exist.
like Hopkinsville is on the border of Kentucky and West Virginia. So West Virginia, as we know, has Point Pleasant, has the Flatwoods Monster. Hopkinsville has the Kentucky Goblins.
Yeah.
So like,
Well, and they were in a. Here's another thing that's fascinating. They were in a gunfire fight for hours.
right.
Like
You would
owls-
think
this
that
is
they would have shot.
So you're
one,
telling
right?
and
I
you're
mean,
telling me that owls aren't going to be like, oh, let's get out of here.
well. They speculate that they were defending their nest, so that was why they were aggressively.
but they didn't get
fighting.
killed. They didn't get shot. They didn't.
Yeah, you're telling me they
They
missed,
I
They
know
said
a
they
lot
were
of things, but
impervious,
these
which
Appalachian
means they
people,
shot them
yeah,
and it didn't kill them. Now, granted,
they
there's
ain't missing it.
and like,
Granted, they could have shot and missed, and the owls were just flying around because they were shitty shots.
I don't know about all that though.
Like
in the
it-
South,
it's like look, I believe in a lot of paranormal stuff out there. I believe there's a lot of strange things that happen, but could it be that it's owls?
maybe.
Yeah.
maybe. But again, you would think that there would be more stories with more cases in this area where something like this would have happened.
And
right?
and if they were able to dodge gunfire for 4 hours or however many hours it was, what was their purpose? Why stay around to get shot at? If you know that it's not going to affect you, fine, that's one thing. But why stay around? What would be the purpose?
How do you
of-
know they didn't do something somewhere else and that person was like, I'm not telling anybody about this because they'll ridicule
That's
the
true,
shit out of
too.
me.
So you
How
mean,
many people-
You
how
mean
many
they're
people-
scouting different houses? What?
No, I'm saying they had a purpose and they fulfilled that purpose. We just don't know what that purpose was because whoever was the victim of said purpose is probably not going to tell you if they got probed because people who get probed
There it
don't
is.
talk about it.
Yeah, it's not a
There
very.
Unless
it
they put it in a book and then
The
Shane tries
communion.
to read that book and it takes him
Probed.
28 days.
Look,
Shane still hasn't finished the communion.
listen. Yes, I did. I
Did you
finally
finish it?
finished
You
it,
finally
but it
finished
was
it?
like I think on the last day.
Yeah, took you 28. I read like 47 books, including an entire Jim Jones biography.
Listen, yeah, and that was impressive.
1,000 pages.
That was impressive, but I will tell you, like my attention span is not great,
Well,
especially
Spreading butt cheeks.
Ooh,
what?
Probed. That didn't keep your attention.
What the hell? Like you threw me off. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Getting probed.
What about getting
Who
probed?
got probed?
Whitley Strieber.
Oh yeah, but he talked about it and
Right,
blabbed
and
about
look
it.
what it did to his life.
That's true.
Well, people still talk. He's fine.
He'll be up.
He's
dirt on it.
He's
It's
fine. He's
fine.
good. You know, he went through some tribulations, but he's good now.
It's like the dude from the Fire in the Sky. What's his name?
Travis Walton.
Travis
Yeah.
Walton. Yeah, I met that guy, man. Woo.
He has not had the best life.
Yeah,
That shit.
But it's some fascinating stuff.
it is fascinating.
Most of the people that have come forward from UFO encounters or alien encounters,
You could tell
or
something happened to
abductions,
them.
something happened to them, and it was not good. They didn't come out of that shit happier and
No.
healthier.
Is that what happened to you?
100%.
I wish.
I wish.
I would love if you take me.
Take me now.
Could we please?
QA.
Yeah,
Could our supporters please fund an abduction for?
I'm on the roof
Oh
every
my
night.
God. But thank you so much for listening to the second episode of the Paranormal Mind. We really appreciate y'all very much. Go searchersbelieve.com. Check out all of our merch, all that good stuff, and the events that we're going to be doing. And check us out on all social media. And until next time,
We're out.
we're out.
We did it.
And we got to fire Josh. We got to fire Josh
We
from
need
this
a
crowd.
sound guy.
Well, I am the sound guy.